We are back with a classic build that has been at the top of the game for multiple seasons, and with the artifact mods introduced this season, it remains to be an absolutely ridiculously strong build in the game. Even after Hoyle was quote-unquote nerfed at the launch of Lightfall, which it definitely wasn't, they just reduced the cooldowns a little bit, it's still incredibly broken. All you need to do for this build to work is simply use your abilities. That's all it takes. Heart of Inmost Light's exotic perk allows you to overpower every other ability when you use one, so simply throw a grenade and your melee and class ability will be overcharged. Or use your melee to overpower your grenade and class ability, or use your class ability to overpower your grenade and melee. You're seeing a pattern here. While these are overpowered, they're going to be improved in some way, like for example, barricades will have more duration, and then you're also going to get regenerating back abilities faster when you have them overpowered. Wasting no time here, we're going to hop right into the subclass portion of the build. We're going to start with the Thundercrash Super, since that is the best one for PvE, and then you can use either the Thruster or the Towering Barricade or Rallycade if you want. It's kind of up to you here. I like to use the Thruster simply because it allows us to get it done faster, so we don't have to go through the whole animation of placing our barricade. Use whatever lift you want for the movement ability. I like Thunderclap here. You could also use Seismic Strike or Ballistic Slam. Thunderclap just has the most damage, and it's the easiest to get off without having to sprint. Pulse grenades are going to be our grenade here, since storm nades aren't as good as they used to be, and pulse grenades are going to allow us to generate ionic traces with our aspect Touch of Thunder. Touch of Thunder is going to allow our pulse grenades to create ionic traces periodically as it damages targets and increases in damage over time. Ionic traces are the elemental drop of this subclass, and they give you energy towards all of your abilities, allowing us to build into this even more with our ability spam. Our other aspect is going to be knockout, so when we are critically wounding a target or break their shield, where our melee is going to be infused with arc energy and increase our melee range and damage for a short time. And then when we defeat a target with our melee, we're going to start health regeneration and get amplified. When we look at our fragments here, we're going to be starting with the Spark of Shock, so our arc grenades are going to jolt targets, which is then going to pair into Spark of Ions. When we defeat a jolted target, we're going to spawn an ionic trace, giving us more ionic traces. Spark of Magnitude is also going to pair alongside our grenades to make them last longer. And then Spark of Resistance is going to be nice, so when we're surrounded by 3 or more combatants, we're going to be more resistant to incoming damage. To take this build to another level, there are a few stats that you should build into to allow your ability spam to go even further. Resilience is definitely going to be the top one, as it's paired to both damage reduction and your class ability. Discipline paired to your grenades, so we can get those back faster. And then the last one, you can either go with Strength if you want a faster melee, or you can go with Recovery for faster health regeneration. Jumping into the artifact here, there are a few that allow the Arc subclass to go absolutely crazy, so definitely grab these. We're going to start with authorized mod Arc, so our Arc mods are costing 1 now. Then we're going to go with Amped Up, so we stay amplified longer. Thunderous Retort, so our Arc super damage is a lot stronger when we cast it while critically wounded or while amplified. Electric Armor to gain damage resistance while amplified. And then Lightning Strikes twice, so after we throw an arc grenade, our arc grenades are going to get an increased regeneration time for a short duration, and Arc Final Blows are going to extend the duration of this benefit. These artifact mods are actually kind of dumb. They're super strong, and they're going to allow us to be amplified pretty much 24/7, which gives us a 24/7 increase to damage resistance, and also allows us to do more damage with our supers. So it's kind of a no-brainer here to use these artifact mods. Now, when we take a look at the weapons to bring along, we're going to start with the kinetic slot here, and honestly, the only one I really recommend bringing along is Riptide, as it has both overload and unstop stunning abilities, and it's just honestly one of the best kinetic weapons in the game. And if you have chill clip on it, which is the only thing you should be running on it, auto loading as well would help, and you're going to be able to stun both overloads and unstops. Overloads when you slow them, and then unstops when you shatter freezing. In the energy slot, we have so many different options here, starting with some legendaries. You can go with the Ikelos SMG with Volt Shot, Brigand's Law with Volt Shot, Path of Least Resistance with Volt Shot, or you could even use Forbearance with Ambitious Assassin and Chain Reaction. The main thing you're seeing here with all of these is that most of them have Volt Shot, because jolting targets is going to be absolutely insane to get more ability spam, so we can spawn those ionic traces. In the heavy slot here, you could run a machine gun, you could run a linear, or you could run a rocket or GL. A good machine gun would be the 7 Seraph Saw. Storm Chaser is a good linear, obviously the Hothead with a rocket launcher, and then Wendigo for a grenade launcher. And then when we look at some exotics in our energy slot, there are quite a few that I think really benefit from this build. Cold Heart is the first one that allows us to spawn ionic traces while damaging targets over time with the beam. Delicate Tomb will also spawn ionic traces when we get a final blow with it. Or you could go with the new Centrifuge auto rifle. You could even use Trinity Ghoul or Risk Runner as well. And then if you want to look at a heavy exotic, Thunderlord is absolutely the choice. Having the ability to stun overloads is a massive benefit to this, plus it's a super strong exotic. Moving on over to the final part of our build, the armor mods. We're going to start on our helmet here, and we're going to have a harmonic siphon, so anytime we get final blows with our arc weapons, we're going to generate an orb. And then we have an ashes to assets as well as a hands-on, so anytime we get either a grenade or melee final blow, we're going to generate some super. On our gauntlets here, we're going to have a firepower and heavy-handed, so we can generate orbs when we get a melee final blow or a grenade final blow. And then momentum transfer, so anytime we cause damage with a grenade, it's going to reduce our melee cooldown. On the chest piece, just run 3 resistance mods, since that's going to be the most beneficial to survivability in this, especially if you're doing something like the Ghost of the Deep Dungeon or something with a lot of one specific damage. Just throw 3 of those on so you can have the most amount of resistance. And then on our boots here, we're going to have 2 arc weapon surges. So anytime we have some armor charges, we're going to use them towards getting a damage bonus to our arc weapons. And then have a elemental charge there. So anytime we pick up an ionic trace, it's going to give us a chance to get an armor charge, allowing us to build into those arc weapon surges. And then finally on our class item here, we have a bomber, outreach, and then a reaper. Bomber and outreach will allow us to get both melee and grenade cooldown reductions when we use our class ability. And then Reaper will allow us to spawn an orb after we use our class ability and then get a final blow. This build is, and will continue to be, one of the strongest in the game, since Heart of Inmost Light is undoubtedly one of the best exotics in the game for Titans, and there is no question about it. The beauty of this exotic is that you can throw it on any subclass and see some results. So if Arc isn't the subclass for you, Void goes absolutely crazy with this. Solar, Stasis, and Strand also see some benefits from this exotic as well, although there are better ones to use for those subclasses. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to drop a like and subscription to the channel. It means a lot to me and helps me grow as a creator. And if you want to see some more of my content, I have my Kick, Twitch, and TikTok all linked in the description. I stream on Twitch and Kick 3 days a week on each platform, and I post almost daily on TikTok, so if you guys want to go check that out, I would greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.